From the epic beaches, luxurious hotels, tourist activities like swimming with turtles, and so much more. This is not Maldives, this is Zanzibar. It's the most visited place in East Africa with over 600,000 tourists increasing every year. In the next coming 4 days, I'll be exploring Zanzibar without and on budget a tour guide. So come with me while I walk along and see what we can find in the best, cheapest price ever. For those who are new,
like and subscribe or I will murder your family. No, I'm just kidding. You know I love you guys. Don't forget to smash that like button.
Consider subscribing if you're on a travel trip. Located at the east side of Tanzania, Zanzibar is an island made of two parts, Unguja and Pemba. As of today, we will explore Unguja, where there is most of the tourist activities. First, you have to understand, most likely you'll be coming from Dar es Salaam, which is part of the Tanzania mainland. Getting your way to Zanzibar can be by plane or by boat. Flight costs $37 in 30 minutes, boat $11 in 1 hour and 30 minutes. We used the boat and saved $20. Please be aware not to use the Azam ferry and better use Zan ferries. Since Zan ferries, they are not organized and you may end up standing up on the whole journey. Meanwhile, in Zan ferries, it is mandatory for someone to sit. The first impression, it's a very good boat.
No,
check it
the
out.
impression is what you see from their photos is exactly what you find.
What about Azam?
That was different.
So Azam will you call it a scam?
It's not really a scam, but with their renovations, they should have been realistic with what they post online with what they really have.
Yeah, so that's what actually is happening. And for accommodation, we had to choose in a cheaper place before arrival and contacted the owner privately before booking. This is the best way to get a discount. Now, for more tips, be sure to check the whole video on the place that we stayed for more details. For $22 per night, which was going to be $11 per person, since we didn't actually book two places, we just took one place and divided by two. The apartment had a master bedroom, a sitting room, laundry services, public washroom, a kitchen, and a balcony for an epic view of Zanzibar. For so much more details about the place, please visit the whole video and I'll giving out all the details. So during this evening, we got time and visited Forodhani. Forodhani has got a lot of dishes. Now for someone who is really into dishes, this is the home of dishes. Now with their prices ranging from almost around $5 until above, even some of them would go to 10 and 20, depending on what you like, you have to get what you want. Now personally, I didn't have time to choose so many things to eat because I had a big long day coming up tomorrow, so I just chose some specific and we had our dinner and went back to the room and slept. Waking up on the wonderful breakfast available just below the streets of Zanzibar, we had soup, chapati and mishkaki, which costs around $3. Very cheap, of course. Then we decided to go for exploration. But while walking in the streets of Zanzibar, we actually had a problem because sometimes things can go unplanned. The rain started raining. Anyone who knew actually it was going to rain? Nobody did. It's just the weather that changes, and actually be aware to know when are the times and the good times actually to visit Zanzibar or Africa, any place in Tanzania or any place you want to go in Africa. Be sure, because sometimes the rain and other issues could cost you around your travel. So just wandering around. If you actually have any question about that, just check on the videos that we did on the weathers in Africa, on different places to visit in Africa. Or if you have any question, just let me know down in the comment section. I'll answer you right away. So that's how we go to waste hours. We can go to waste hours and waiting for the time to just pass by and the rain to get over, so as we can move around once again. Be careful while traveling to different places is tour guides. Of course, there are so many people in the internet. Actually, not only in the internet, even if you go to different places, you find people trying to talk about the tour guides and how they can direct you to different places. Personally, I also talk about the tour guides and moving to one place to another. Now, one of the things that you really need to understand is that nothing is free. So, except it's actually something from me, I don't really think that thing is free for sure. So, personally, I would say that in Zanzibar, what we experience is these people would come to us and try to tell us that they really want to help us and they'll help us with a really little amount of money. But once they saw me vlogging and making videos, then I was speaking English, they thought that I was a foreigner. Then they actually told me that I should be paying in charges that are actually foreigner. So be careful in these people and try not to avoid them. Just listen to them and tell them things and tell them asante. This is gonna be saving you a lot of time, because so many people have been, what should I call it, they have been storing their properties and sometimes they have been misled just because of this. Just for an additional point, just say asante and that's all you can tell them. And apart from that, be sure to know what you're doing and what you want in that day. That's how we actually even go to escape this one and actually got one of our own who helped us around in Zanzibar. After the rain was done, we actually checked the galleries and actually some pictures. Everything that was actually around there was very artistic and very cultural. It really defined the Zanzibar culture. For those guys who are interested into Zanzibar culture, be sure to suggest to me down there and tell me if actually I should make another video on showing the real lifestyle for Zanzibarian person and how they live, if you're really interested. Apart from that, keep watching because I have a lot of things to do, and today is the day that we're actually going to explore the Old Fort. If you haven't known, the Old Fort is actually one of the biggest places that actually tourists can visit. It's known for its epic view, and it's kind of like a stadium, but actually a stadium cut into half, and it's a very big place where people go and move and show some shows. I think it's mostly when there is a, what should I call it, a holiday and stuff, they do have some shows here. Now apart from that, one of the things that you should be really asking, which was the total fee for entrance of this Old Fort? No, it is totally free. We then did have lunch for almost around $11. That's actually for 2 people. That is actually almost around $5.5 per person. Now the rain also got back again, and this was really terrible this time around. It made us stop and cancel the whole day plans, and later on we realized that we had nothing to do to the whole day rather than watching the Old Fort and other places that are actually cultural arts. Now the evening meal costed us around $10, so let's see for the next day. We had an amazing day with a $3 meal. We finally got a Bajaji transport for $1. Also changes to the dollar was for $2. Another ride Boda Boda for $1. And this cash amount were actually for both people. So finally we arrived at Nungwi Aquarium, where we paid $14. Of course, this is so much money from where I thought it's gonna be like around $10,000 per person, which is $20,000 per 2 people, but it was $14, which is very expensive for Tanzanians, which is actually equivalent to, it was a foreigner that would pay probably around $20 for 25. Damn, this was an expensive place that I never thought that I would pay for, but the expensivity and the amount of enjoyment you get right here, it's very equivalent. So in the beginning, before actually going inside, I was like kind of sad that it is expensive, but after entering and seeing the things that I'm going to see, they're quite well fair. And spending $1 for Boda Boda and $2 for the Adala, at the moment we were coming back, we actually got another idea to visit this other place, whereby we had to take this other kind of transport. I've forgotten the name. It is a Zanzibarian kind of transport. Then we went to Shambaland. Now this is one of the places that has games. You would find some places like this also in Tanzania mainland, because now we are actually in Zanzibar. But kinda the things that they are actually available here are different games that you would choose to play, and when you play, you'd pay separate prices apart from the entrance price. But the prices are kinda different, from $3 to for 2 hours to $5 for a whole day swim. Now this is just for the swimming part. The person who was giving us instruction kind of was actually saying lies, because I remember he said that the pool was so deep, but currently the pool wasn't that deep as the way he explained it. Notice that on your way back from this place called Shambaland, since we were actually sitting nearby for Dani place, that's the place that we stayed, it was really hard going back. So getting a transport back, it was hard, not only because it was expensive, but also we wouldn't be able to get even that the taxi, or what should I call it, the transport that's going to take us back. You would find most of the Dala, that's why we call the minibuses, that will pass, but they're already full, so they won't stop. So it's kind of a good idea to always have an idea in mind before it gets in the evening when you're at the Shambaland, in order to understand what transport you're going to use for going back to your place, so the hotel you're staying, or is it Airbnb or some place that you're actually having your accommodation paid for. So that's something that you should take care of. Now after that, we went back and passed through for Dani getting some food, so which actually costed us around $14. Actually it was 10. So that was how we actually got the evening and slept well, waking up with the 4th. Upon this day 4, we spent $3 for breakfast, and hoping that this is gonna be the last day in Zanzibar. So apart from that, we actually took a boat from Zanzibar place to a place called Prison Island. Of course, we had to pay $35 for both of us, and this was actually one of the person who took us and to Prison Island, and then later took us to Nakupenda Sandbanks. Now, if you would actually get someone else who you could pay a certain amount of money to take you in these places. Some people even charge $100 per head, per person, sorry. So you kind of have to be careful, because not everyone is gonna have a way of understanding like this person did. This person we gave him 35 and it was for 2 people, so you can see how cheap is that. And even some of the guiders who were there, they were actually even generous and say that he's destroying the business. So in Prison Island, where we go to meet the 100 years turtle, even take pictures with them, but they're not allowed to be fed, so that's a sad thing. But I think it's more of a worldwide thing. Most of the zoos and places where they keep animals, they're not allowing you to feed them. Moreover, the place where they used to take a prison, and we even got to get and take pictures with that place too. But sad story is nowadays it's been sold to a foreigner and who turned it into a bar, as you can see. Not sure what you think about that, but let me know down in the comment section if you think it was kind of fair to just sell it out and leave it to a person who is a foreigner to just use it as something to make money. So yeah, apart from that, we then went to Nakupenda sandbanks. Nakupenda means I love you, so but doesn't mean if you're a single person you shouldn't come here. No, every is for everyone. Most of the foreigners tend to come here and enjoy their life. After we finished the whole day, then we had a wonderful time going back also, because this is just an epic time. We were always trying to do our best to minimize the time and minimizing the cost, so as we be able to travel as many places as possible. So while the evening was coming and we really realized that we need to hurry up, and around 2 we were actually supposed to be at the place of getting our boat going back to Tanzania mainland. But sadly enough, we got the news that we were supposed to go there even around 11, not around 2. So in that day it was actually cancelled, and as I told you, be prepared for anything. So we cancelled this day. We didn't go back to this same day. On the 4th day we had to wait to the next day, and then that's when we can book another boat to go back into Tanzania. We're preparing our bags for leaving, but now we realized that there's one thing that we didn't buy, and that was ubuyu babuali. If you haven't heard of that, man, you're not in Zanzibar. So before you leave Zanzibar or before you go out of Zanzibar, make sure you buy something called ubuyu babuali. Like, this is so sweet. If someone who has been to Zanzibar, they know this. But we decided to find for it, and we asked for the shops, but we failed. Then apart from that, we actually went to the shops of electronics. So we have had in Zanzibar, you'll find places whereby they sell electronics very cheap. So we went around and checked the electronics shops. If you haven't seen my, what should I call them? They're called shorts. Yeah, if you have seen my shorts, I did show everything there. So we did check around. Though the electronic prices, they weren't that as cheap as the way people used to exaggerate them. They're quite fair, just a little bit of a deduction. And you need to be careful too, because don't expect to buy something here electronic and thinking that it's all legitimate, because if it's legitimate, it's going to be quite expensive compared to your home place. Now finally we got back to our apartment and we took our bags, left for the Islam trip using a ferry boat that was Zan ferries. Now, as I've told you, Zan ferries is the best one, and it actually costed us $22 for both of us. It's the best because as I've said, it's not containing a lot of people and everyone is told to sit down and you can buy stuff and just sit down. But otherwise, choose Azam, you're doomed. Zan ferries is the best. Yeah, that's it. And they're not paying me to say this, I'm just being honest. Unless otherwise, Azam ferries, they could watch this video and change their habit and make sure everyone is seated and not congested inside there. If you wanna see the long version of this video, the whole trip is just available in the channel already. Go and check that out. It's divided into so many sections. And if you have any comment or question, just let me know. Until we meet next time, make sure you subscribe and let me know what should I add, which kind of video that I should keep up with. And if you are not sure, just subscribe and see you next time.